welcome to this week's edition of the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. This week, I have another returning guest. She is the two-time reigning Carry Optics and PCC Ladies National Champion. I was looking back over her statistics, you know me and my statistics, and I believe she has like 15 national championships now. I don't know. I'll have to confirm with her. She probably knows. But if you would, go ahead and join me in welcoming to the show Justine.
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. So how close or how far off am I with 15? Does that sound about right?
I don't actually know. I lost count kind of a while ago. That sounds about right for USPSA. I've got a few others in like IPSC and IDPA. But that's pretty much it. I think for USPSA, my coach is really big into the keeping track thing, and it's kind of to the point where I just kind of focus, yay, I won, and then move on to the next one because there's always something else, right?
Yeah, there sure is. I mean, you can't, if you sit around and just enjoy the win, someone's going to pass you by in this sport.
Yeah, in today's world, there's too many people out there that's hungry for it. So you gotta just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I've got a spreadsheet and I went
Oh
back to
boy.
the year 2000. And from the year 2000, from what I can find, I've updated this year's. Um, Jesse Harrison has 22 total. I have you at 15, Julie Golub at 14, your sister at 12. Then I feel bad. I don't know Munson's first name, but
Lisa. I think it's
Lisa
Lisa.
Munson. Okay, so we're going with that. Lisa at 11, uh, Randy Rogers at 9, Ashley at 8, Kay Michalik at 6, and Lena at 4. Just since 2000. I don't know what Kay has before then. I'm sure she has several more.
I'm
So
sure.
yeah. So, but that's what I've got.
I wasn't born yet, so I can't quite compete with that.
No, no, that's a hard one to compete with when you're not even
Yeah.
there to do it. All right. Number one, congratulations on your 2 wins this year.
Thank you.
I'm sure you are competing in now handgun nationals. What are you shooting there?
So that's a great question. So originally I was gonna shoot production just because I haven't shot that in a while and I kind of wanted to just get back to my roots. I started in production, shot that for 4 years. But then they came out with limited optics and I was like, well, I can't not shoot it. I have a gun, and I kind of want to be the first one to win the ladies title if I can. Like it's a new division, first one ever. It would be cool to get my name on that. So I think I'm going to shoot limited optics.
So this is the only thing I'm not certain of. Are they giving away awards for limited
Um,
options?
I'm a,
We know.
I'm assuming they are. I mean they better only because people didn't go to nationals to shoot in a division and not get recognized. I mean, they've recognized it
Right.
at every other area match, every other state match since May. So they shouldn't. That's a great question. I mean, they should. I don't know why they wouldn't. They're having it at a nationals. If they weren't doing it at a nationals, then they shouldn't have held it there, right? I think they would get a lot of upset about that
Yeah.
if they didn't. Especially since I know a
Agree.
lot of people going for wanting to win that first title in it, at least for the men's and for the ladies, right? So we'll
Hmm.
see.
Should be a pretty interesting competition there
Yeah.
within that division. So, all right. So let's back up now. Carry Optics. You won Carry Optics last year. You and Morgan literally went down to the last stage because I was there watching and I was like, holy
Yeah.
cow, these guys, who knows who's winning. Um, but this year, that was at Talladega. This year, it was at Cardinal Shooting Center. Now, that was your first time being there, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes.
And what did you think of the facility?
So I think the facility is actually really nice. The only thing I can just, I don't know, not a complaint necessarily, just for like an improvement standpoint. I think they can do a little bit better with the stages they put in the bays, because unfortunately there are some bays that you can't shoot into the sideburns. which is just
Right.
how it comes, right? Just how it happens. You know, you got to work around it. I think there's just a little bit things to improve on, at least from a designer standpoint, that can do better. Just like the bays that you can shoot into the side berms, don't put too small stages. Like use it, and then instead of putting two small stages in the good bays and one okay stage in the non-shooting the side berm bays. Besides that, I didn't mind it. I think the weather, it was a little wet, but weather-wise, I wasn't dying of heat stroke or I wasn't freezing. So I think besides that, it was pretty good. I mean, I haven't been to Ohio besides CONAT, so it was cool to get it out of state. And location-wise, I think it was okay. Yeah. I think
Okay.
it was a change of
Now,
scenery from Talladega. I'll say that.
well, I'm saving that question for later. We're going to get into that a
Yeah.
little bit more specific later on after we talk about PCC Nats. But so you brought up weather.
Mhm.
Friday morning, I guess was bad, and then the water puddled and hung around through the afternoon. But I think the raining had stopped. Correct?
I think the raining pretty much stopped. I think they pulled, if I remember correctly, I think they pulled bags pretty much immediately for the
Okay.
afternoon squad, which is where I was at. So if I remember correctly, so many
Yeah,
matches.
I know. I know. It wasn't even. It literally wasn't even that long ago, but it seems like a year ago.
Yeah.
So, but do you remember? Did the footing or anything like that, anything with the weather in the afternoon,
Um,
slow
I
you
don't
down or cause any issues?
I don't think so. I think the only thing was there was some massive puddles in the shooting area that
Yeah.
you ran through, and it was like there was no saving your shoes, not trying to get wet. It was you run through it, you get wet, you get over it pretty quickly. So that was pretty much it. Just some giant puddles in the shooting area, but you could still see the fault lines. Everyone had to deal with it. It was, you know,
Okay.
fine, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't think anyone fell, at least on the ladies super squad. No one fell. A lot of people got wet, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. It reminded me of last fall when you guys were in Florida shooting the IPSC matches. Same type of thing.
Yes,
Everybody was
same
muddy and
thing.
wet and nasty.
Yeah, same thing, but that was so much worse than this. Like
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
worse. So this was doable. The Pan American, that was crazy in the Pan American.
Yeah, that was crazy. Now, what did you, when we have talked before, you guys would stay in places where, if I remember correctly, you guys would like cook wherever you stayed. Did you do that again, or did you
Um,
go out and enjoy the scenery this time?
I think we had lunch out one time. I pretty much we cooked at the Airbnb. We were
Okay.
staying with my boyfriend and his family, and my parents came up, so we had steak and one night, and we had Alfredo another, and some salad and stuff. So we always, try to go out, have a good time with the family, and enjoy it. We got an Airbnb, so much better than a hotel. It's actually like kind of like a little home. You're not stuck in one room. Um, so yeah, it's pretty nice.
Steak. I'm going to start
Yeah.
reaching out to your parents. So when I'm at a major match with you, I'm just going to slip them like a 50 so I can just eat dinner with you guys. That's crazy.
They they literally cook so well. My dad just he knows how to cook steak so well, and like my mom and Carson's mom Carrie, they make excellent side meals. Carson's dad Mark also cooks steak, filet mignon specifically really well. I tell my dad, Dad, you make the best steaks except for filet mignon because Mark gets the best filet mignon I've ever had. If you know my family, you know that we, especially my mom and dad, they really love meat. So we're always trying to find the best steak around. I love steak. Like it's super funny when we go out at restaurants, I won't order a steak because I'm like I can't eat it. It's not as good as my dad, so why am I going to eat something I'm not going to like? So it's like I really only eat steak for my dad and Mark. Like
Okay. I mean, I hung around and chatted with your mom last year at CO Nat. So, I mean, we're basically cousins. So it shouldn't be a problem.
yeah, it's really good. You have to come around sometime. Yeah, it's really good.
Now, did you guys get out at all while you were there? I'm curious. I'm going to go ahead and throw the question out now. We touched on it briefly. There's zero in Talladega, and there's a little bit more stuff in Oxford around CMP. But at Cardinal, I wasn't there. And you have Marengo, which I don't think there's a whole lot there, but you have Columbus, which is pretty big, pretty close by. So I don't know if maybe the area is a little nicer.
To be honest with you, how do I say this without sounding like a munch? My family doesn't really go out. Like, we're perfectly
Okay.
happy with staying inside, watching a movie together. Our Airbnb actually had a ping pong table, so we were playing ping pong like after dinner and dry
Wow.
firing. So like we're perfectly content with just going to the range and then coming back, relaxing. We don't like staying out late, get a good sleep the night before. So that's pretty much movies and ping pong, steak. Movies,
Okay.
ping pong, and steak. Yeah. So
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
honestly, yeah, not that there's a really good restaurant right by the range though. It's kind of like bar food. But we had it after awards. It was pretty good. It was like 9:30 at night. We were all super tired, but it was pretty good.
So please don't tell me they ran out of food and you had to go get bar food after.
They didn't. They were just
Okay.
we were like yeah. I don't think either Mark or Carrie or someone, a few people in our group didn't have the food at Talladega. I mean, not excuse me, at the awards. So we were like, let's celebrate
Mm,
and get some bar food. I'm in the back like, oh, I'm so tired. Let's go home. Like,
yeah, that's a long day.
yeah.
So let's talk the match then. You guys started on Friday afternoon, then you Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, like normal on the super squads.
Hmm.
Um, did you there looked like there was a little bit of a bigger gap between you and Morgan, but it was still
Hmm.
fairly close. So at what point did you like last year? There was no room to breathe.
Yeah.
You couldn't take a sigh of breath because more you and Morgan were literally right there. But what was it like this year?
Okay, so actually this is quite funny. Actually it's not that funny. Well, it might be for you. At least not for me at the time it wasn't. So the first 2 days I shot absolute trash. Um, I don't know. I was just not, it's the same as you're just not feeling it. Some days you feel it, some days you don't. Like I was having fun. Like like the ladies and the super squad and Kevin and Carson and everyone, like I had fun. I just was like, oh, like just dreading every stage, bomb, bomb, bomb. And then I woke up. This is the only way. This is only time it's ever happened to me in the 9 years I've been shooting. I woke up the third day. We were shooting PM. I woke up at like probably 8:30. I woke up, opened my eyes, and the first thing I thought was like, "What are you doing? Stop shooting like crap. Get your crap together and start shooting good. Like seriously, what are you doing?" And I woke up and I was in a great mood and I listened to music and you can probably see it in the scores. The first 2 days, not shooting great at all. You can see Morgan was actually beating me the first 2 days. And then I woke up the third day and was like, come on, get your stuff together. You got this. And that first stage on the third day, I'd shot incredibly good. Like I think I had the best time on my squad. But I think I beat Morgan by like 4 seconds on it. Like I executed everything perfectly, and I was like, oh, I'm back. Like it was just a feeling of this is what I need. And from that point on, I just shot much better than the last 2 days, which is exactly what I needed to get back on top. So
So
yeah.
what exactly did you do different then?
I woke up on the right side of the bed. Honestly,
Oh,
that's pretty much it. I The previous 2 days I had dry fired, I ate good, I slept good. It was just that third day I just woke up and was like, "What are you doing? Like knock it off," basically. And I just shot much better. When I figure it out, I will let you know because I've yet to figure it out why that was so different. And that's the only time I've ever woke up and said, "What are you doing? Start shooting better." It was just like a realization moment. And if you don't actually start shooting good, you're gonna lose this thing. And it worked, I guess. I don't know. I gotta figure it out though, because it's the first time that's ever happened to me, and it worked. But I would prefer to do that on the first day, not the last day when I'm behind and thinking it's over.
but that's like last year you were behind going into the last stage.
Yeah, on the
It
last
was
stage,
very
yeah,
close. Yeah.
very close. Yeah, The last stage, yeah, last year, same thing. I would just it was the last stage. This year is the last day. Hopefully next year it will be the second day, and then the year after that, the first day I get my stuff together. But we're getting better as the years go on. Experience. Everyone always asks me like, Justine, like, how do you go to all these majors and like perform good and like not be nervous? And I'm like, I don't. I'm completely nervous. It doesn't matter how many nationals I've shot. I can't tell you how many nationals I have shot. At least 15, right? But more than that. Um,
Yeah.
more than that, but at least 15. And every time, I get nervous, and sometimes it shows, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's always just get back on track and don't mess it up too bad where you can't recover from it.
So you do dry fire at the end of each day at nationals?
I do. Well, it depends. So if I shoot AM, I'll dry fire like after I shower and everything. Then I'll dry fire after I'm a little bit refreshed. If I shoot PM, I'll dry fire the next morning when I shoot
Hmm.
like that. Just because if I shoot PM, I'm probably really tired. We have to have dinner still and shower and everything. So I'll just get up earlier the next morning when I have some sleep in me, and then dry fire a little bit like that.
So then, like Saturday, you would dry fire and then go to the
Yep.
range and shoot.
Yes. Every time.
Okay.
Shoot. So dry fire in the morning, function fire, then shoot the match. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you use the
Always.
warm up bay then.
Yes. Always. It's more like we'll get to this when we get to PCC Nationals this year. All odds were against me for this
Okay.
match. But it's more to like sight in, make sure that I'm like, okay, I remember how to grip a gun, like this is how you pull a trigger, this is when you reload, like stuff like that. Just like little mental like, okay, yes, you can do this. You've done this before, just do it again type thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, uh, CO was like June 25th. It was,
Mhm.
but it's early in the shooting season,
Yes.
unlike in years past when it's been like September or October. So, did you alter your training or do anything different to get ready in such a shorter period of time?
Yeah, so I think so last year, I think we talked about last year, I got on the gun like a month in advance. Like I because it was so late in the year, I was on my PCC earlier and things like that. So I really wasn't on the gun. This year, from the very start, I altered sometimes, but I mean, I was pretty much mainly on my CO gun pretty much the entire time, with a few exceptions. But yeah, I pretty much stuck to the CO gun pretty much this year. Even though I didn't shoot that great, I think my fundamentals were a lot better this year than last year. Like I could walk up to a stage and confidently say, yes, I can hit that target, versus like last year, my fundamentals from being on the rifle for so long were a little bit shaky. So like I would walk up to a stage and say like, I'm definitely putting three on that target, because in the heat of the moment, I'm not sure if I can entirely hit that. But this year, I had some mics. I'm like, yeah, I can hit that target at the distance or whatever. But this year is definitely, I was more prepared. Even though I was on a cruise like a month before the match, or it was like 3 weeks on a cruise. It was kind of nice. Like it was a little bit break. I wouldn't say I was that like, oh man, nationals, nationals, nationals. It was actually like kind of a nice break, because when I got back, it was like a reset button, and all I wanted to do was go to the range, shoot, come back, dry fire, go to the range, shoot, come back, dry fire. Like I think I shot every single day leading up to CO Nats, just because I was like, get back on the gun, stay hungry, like get back, to where you were.
So, if you're live firing every day like that in training to prep for Nats,
Hmm.
what does your dry fire look like? Do you do any at that time or is it scaled way back?
Yes, it depends. Actually, so I was in Phoenix leading up to CO National, so I shot pretty much as I could on I pretty much every day, if not every other day. Carson and I actually used Dry Fire King for our dry fire sessions. That's pretty cool. Just to see the swingers and the draws and the reloads and stuff like that, just to have a little bit of structure to the dry fire instead of just throw the gun out there and reload really fast. You're actually aiming at some moving targets and stuff like that. But I would pretty much just do a Dry Fire King video or two with Carson every day or every other day. Like they were pretty fun actually. We were kind of racing, obviously, but it was still, you got the gun out and you did the drills. So
Were you racing to see who cleans up after eating the steak?
no, he doesn't actually eat steak, but we were yeah, we
What?
were yeah, he doesn't, not yet. We're working on him though. He has a really big texture. He's gonna kill me for saying this if he listens to it. He has like a texture thing. So like some
Oh
textures
wow.
like really just doesn't vibe with him, but he's doing better. He eats salad sometimes now, which is a step up from before. Um, but yeah,
Okay. Well,
we're
I
getting
get
to it.
that. I'm not a
Yeah.
mushroom guy, and it's not the flavor; it's the texture.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, like
get it.
you can just see it. He's like, I don't hate the flavor, but you can just tell it's just like yuck type thing.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
yeah,
I don't think I could survive, but that's just me, though.
we're getting on it. Let me tell you, we're working on it because I literally love steak so much. Like steak in my salad, yes please. Like a salad without steak, no, no. Steak has to be in the salad.
And where did they have the banquet at this year? The awards banquet. Was it on site or off?
It was offsite, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right, it looked like a giant warehouse, if I'm remembering correctly, but it was kind of like a barn vibe. Like it was like a giant warehouse
Oh.
barn. Like it was really it was cute. It was
Okay.
air conditioned in there. It was actually quite cold. Like I had a jacket on. So it was air conditioned. It wasn't
Wow.
hot. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you finish up with CO Nats,
Hmm.
and so that's Sunday night. I assume. Did you fly back that night or the next day?
Next day. Yeah.
So when do you switch back
Wait.
over to PCC?
No, I'm sorry. We went to West Virginia for a little vacation,
Oh, so you
right?
went from
Yeah.
Ohio to West Virginia.
Is that close or is that far? Am I
Yeah,
thinking of a
no,
different
they're
match?
fairly close by.
There, yeah, we drove like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we
that
went
would
to
be
West
it.
Virginia.
Yeah, they
Carson,
pretty much
Carrie, and
touch.
I, yeah, Carson, Carrie, and I went to West Virginia, and we had like a little vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, we went like whitewater rafting and some stuff. So Carson was trying to get to all 50 states. Ohio and West Virginia was his last two states. Went to Ohio for nationals, and then and Carrie was like, let's just drive to West Virginia, and so you can get your 50th state. And they're like, you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we went to West Virginia. Went Saw a lot of waterfalls. It's beautiful there. Whitewater rafting. Surprisingly, the water was warmer than the air. Like we were freezing, like outside, and then we got whitewater rafting, and they let us get out of the boat and like float down a whitewater raft like part, a little
Hmm.
thing, and the water was warm. I was like, leave me in here because it is a lot warmer in the water than it is in the air.
Well, that's odd. Normally that
Yeah,
water is colder, so huh.
yeah, it was quite warm, yeah, compared to the air.
So then did you just pick your PCC back up when you got back then to Utah
No, I
or
actually
Arizona?
went I went to Limited Optics after that. I had a new gun. This was before they actually came out with the handgun Limited Optics Nationals.
Okay.
Everyone was like, "What are you doing? Get on your PCC." And I was like, "I have a new gun. I can't not shoot it." Like you can't give a person a brand new car and say you're not allowed to drive it. Like, no, no. So I shot that for like I think a month or something like that. I shot it up to Area 3. Um,
Okay.
and then I came back home and went to my PCC.
Wait a minute. I got to back this up for a minute here.
Yeah.
When was Area 3? That's Area 7. So then I think that's Area 3. No, that's Area 1. What the heck? Anyway, okay. I take your
It
word
was
for
like I had like I was on my gun for a week prior to Utah State, which was a week prior to PCC Nats. So I
it.
think I
Okay.
had like 2 or 3 weeks on the gun.
Yes. So Area 3 was the beginning, the early part of August. August
Hmm.
looks like the weekend of August 11th and 12th, which is only 1 month before, not even, like you said, three
Yeah.
weeks before PCC Nats.
Hmm.
So, how in the world? So, you must have just hit the ground running as soon as Area 3 was over.
Yeah. So let's see. So kind of. So we went back to Phoenix. I stayed a few days just because Carson's there, and we went to a rodeo, and then I came back home, and it was just like get home, load ammo, shoot, like immediately. I would say I was a little nervous. I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, oh my goodness, like PCC Nationals was like 2 or 3 weeks away, and the guys I'm competing against mainly shoot PCC full year round. Some of them pick up some other CO guns or limited optics guns now, but I mean mainly they shoot PCC. So I'm like, I better dry fire the heck out of this gun because I haven't really shot it since I shot it at World Speed Shoot, and I also shot it in Puerto Rico. So that was in April. So that is a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just a lot of dry fire and shooting. It's when I picked it up, Glenn's like, okay, let's do some stages. And I'm like, no, we're doing some basics today, like some draws, some reloads, some unloaded starts, just so I can get like the feel of it again. I did that thankfully. So it took about a day to get right back to where I was earlier this year. So
Okay.
it wasn't too bad.
All right. So here's the bigger part of that. So last year you were second.
Mhm.
Max is the only one who beat you.
Mhm.
Now you were third this year. There were still only two guys who beat you. You beat everybody else in the field. But at what point did you feel like you were prepared enough to be in that top three again? Like at what point you're like, okay, I'm where I need to be.
Third day, second to last stage. I'm not gonna lie. So it's a whole story we can get into if you want. But third day, second to last stage, which seems super late in the match, mind you. But I would probably say that yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be at. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
How all right, so let's back up for a minute then. When you arrived at PCC Nationals,
yeah.
if you put yourself in that mindset right now,
Hmm.
where would you have predicted your outcome?
Seventh. That was in my head.
Okay.
Um, in my head, I kind of put like a little wall up. I was telling everyone, if I can just make top 10, I'll be happy because that's what I've done the past few years and I really haven't been on the gun. But in my head, I was like, I better take top 7 because that's just, it kind of proves to myself and everyone else that I belong here. It's not just a fluke based off of last year, but like if I took top 7, I would be like, okay, I did it. That's, I'm good enough for me. In the back of my mind, I'm always saying, yeah, I need to take top 2, top 3 max because I need a podium because that's where I belong. That's where I should do because I have the capability of doing it, obviously. But I was like, okay, I haven't been on the gun, 7th, that's fine. And I had a list of people in my head where I'm like, I'm okay if they beat me. Um, yeah, well, it's a 7th. There's 6 people
Okay.
that can beat
Okay,
me, right?
Max.
Yeah, Max, Josh, Zach, Scott. I was if Grant was there, Grant, and then Andre, from JP. Those are the people in my head where I was like, okay, if they beat me, solid. They're solid shooters. They're really consistent. They're grown men. Like if they beat me,
Yeah.
awesome. I'm in a great spot, right? Um, Anyone else? I'm like, no. I should have worked harder. I should have gotten the gun sooner. Bad.
Dang it, I should have never gone to West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, or I should have brought my PCC to Phoenix. I didn't even bring it to Phoenix. I was like, just shooting limited optics. Don't even need to worry about it. Should not have done that, but it was okay.
So how many times have you told Nils you beat him at Nationals?
Oh, none, none actually. It'll go into my story when I tell you the story. But when I saw
Okay.
Nils is going, I was like, oh, you know, it would be sad if Nils has never shot a major match with the PCC and still beats me. Like that would be sad. Don't get me wrong, Nils is a fantastic shooter, but like he's never shot a major match with the PCC. Only PCC. I mean, obviously two gun, but
Right.
it's different, right? But
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like he's a good shooter, but come on, Justine, you got this. But
So
yeah.
you're happy with your third place?
I am just because I shot on the men's super squad, so like I watched both Max and Josh just execute every single stage. I have never seen Josh execute something so well. I mark my words, he wasn't really trying that third day. The third day, he was just shooting. It didn't look like he was pushing. He wasn't look like he was straining. Nothing. He was just shooting, coasting as easy as could be. Like, and we're just all crawling, just trying to do our best. Josh is just there. Josh and Max are just there, doing their best.
Okay, so I've got to ask you because I've made this comment before. I've
hmm
said there is a stark difference between the men's super squads and the ladies super
hmm
squads. The ladies super squads, it's like I don't remember the female singer, but "Party in the USA," and but you guys are still trying. It's not like you're
Yeah.
not. You know what I mean? You guys are still over there competing hard with each other, but it's a
Yeah.
different vibe. You look at the men's super squad, and you're like, oh. JJ had a squib. I'm sure there were four people behind him. Were like, yeah, you got a squib. But in the but in up to him, they're like, oh man, I'm so sorry. It's
Yeah.
just a different level of tension, is what I mean.
It is
So
very tense. Yeah. However, I've said this I think a few times before. The PCC Super Squad is some of the most chill people you'll ever meet on the shooting range. Like, these people are like, most of them are so much fun. They're laughing, they're joking around, I mean, out loud they're rooting for you. If something happens, you're like, oh man, that sucks. Like, you got, like, next time, like, I high five Zach several times on that last day, like, and we're competing head to head. Like, I don't know, the PC Super Squad is just so much different than open. And I
okay,
shot on the Optic Super Squad in 2020. Now that was
yes,
tense. I was like, I will never do
yes,
this again. Like, this is not
I,
fun. At least for me, not fun. Like, I know it's supposed to be fun. It's my job, but it's supposed to be fun. Never again. PC Super Squad, completely different. Like, the vibe
okay,
is just from like tense to like, from the like tense open to like ladies. It's like right here. So like, it's way different. Like, honestly, and that's me being, I mean, a teenage girl, 19, teenage girl on the men's super squad. I mean, you would think they would all be like, but like, they're all really chill. They're asking each other stage plans. They're rooting for each other. It's quite a weird vibe. But
wow,
once you get it, you're like, this is fantastic. I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. Like, the majority of them are so much fun. Yeah,
okay,
but
because and
only
you and I,
PCC.
okay, I was because you and I have had that conversation about
Yeah,
2020 because I was there, and I said I didn't know who you were, but I saw
yeah,
one female, a young lady with earbuds in, just kind of dancing to some music in her head, completely separate of everybody else. A lot of
yeah.
tension in the squad. I was like, oof, this is terrible.
It was like, at the time, like, really, there was only two people talking to me. Austin Aris, who doesn't shoot anymore, but he at the time was on the Super Squad, and then there was one other person, which at the time his name is escaping me. Everyone else, I mean, they're nice people, but they didn't really talk to me. They were all super serious, which is, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. But I have my earbuds in. I'm gonna have the time of my life, even if it's by myself. Like, I'm here to have fun and win, but have fun. I do a lot better if I'm having fun. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, because I would, with you and Morgan telling each other, like, oh, be careful over here. And with that and
yeah,
this last year, even though you guys were neck and neck, I was like, I would never see, or I'm not going to say never, but I didn't see that. I saw some laughter and stuff going on last year's CO men super squad. So it wasn't
yeah,
too bad, but you can still feel the underlying tension on that side. Like those
yeah,
guys are serious, they want to win. They're not wishing harm on each other or anything like that, but you can tell there's a different level
yeah.
of
I,
tension over there.
it may just be like, I don't know, maybe the way I grew up, or I don't know, or just, I don't know, just things that made me who I am, where it's just like, if I'm gonna win, I want to win because I'm the best, not because someone messes up or has a jam or gets hurt. Like, if I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win because I'm the best at that time, not because something happens to someone else. So that's like helping with stage plans. Hey, the sun's really bad in this spot. Watch, there's a hole right there. Like, anything like that. It's just like, it's the right thing to do as a good competitor, right? So, I don't know.
So what did you think when you found out you were going to be on the men's super squad? Did it concern you at all
Um,
initially?
no, I've shot on the men's super squad since 2021, so 21, 22, and now 23. Um, the first year was a little bit odd just because I think I was like 17, maybe 18 at the time, 17, and I think there's just like a teenage girl's on the squad. Why is she here? That thing, but I think, I mean, honestly, everyone calls it the men's super squad, which I think we should vote to change it to super squad, not men's super squad, because hello. But um, um,
Yeah, I
but
mean, you're right. It's a
uh,
good point.
I don't know. I assumed I was going to be on the men's super squad, and I preferred to be on the men's super squad because at this match my goal was to compete with the men. So I don't know. I just kind of was like, okay, good, I'm on it, type thing. So
Now, in 21, wasn't that was a mixed, wasn't it? Because wasn't Linda on there too and
that
Lena?
was PCC Super Squad. Yeah. So I pretty sure both Lena and I had placed top 10 or 12 or however they do it. I think Linda was there because of Max, and at the time they
Okay,
were dating, and I think sharing
right.
gear, so it kind of just made sense,
Uh,
I guess.
okay,
But everyone else on it was top 12, top 10, yeah,
I got you. Okay, yeah, that was definitely a mixed. That shouldn't have been men
yeah,
super squad. That should have just been super squad.
Super Squad, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, and I think, look, um, uh, this is the one division where you have a female who is legitimately top three every year.
hmm
So it should just be at this point the super squad.
yeah. I mean top 10. I think I started placing top 10. I placed top 10 every year since 2020 because I think 2020 was the first year I shot PCC at nationals. So I think I took ninth and then like 10th and then second and third. I think that's how it was, something like that. But I think every year I placed top 10. Um,
Okay.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, so many matches, like I
Ye-
said. But
ye-
but yeah, like just I don't know. And I hope there's more ladies in the future, not now, directly now, like it'll take a while, but who um become a threat to men in other divisions as well. That sounds a little harsh, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're
Like
saying.
where it's just
That
work,
doesn't sound harsh.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a threat. Like ooh, that sounds rough, but I hope
No.
because it's obviously doable, right? PCC, it's completely doable. So it's just gonna take time and a lot of effort from someone. Trying to get there myself, but as you can see, my PCC skills are much higher than my other skills. But hopefully we're gonna get there one day. But we'll see.
Well, I think I think it's determined by the level of participation in that division. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what makes it difficult.
Yeah, because if
And
optics, they have to have two super squads because there's so many good people, right? Like
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, so in 2020, this is 2020, I believe. Yeah, so in 2020, you and Lena both were top 10.
Yeah.
Lena was 8, you were 9. The next year, you were 10. Then the next year, you were 2, and
Mhm.
now 3. So you
Yeah.
have moved into that very top tier. So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's pretty funny. Actually, me and Dad were talking about it. So in 2020, I pretty much had at the time one of the best matches of my life. I had a foot fault,
Oh,
which um cost me. But besides that, like I shot extremely well. There was nowhere where I could be like, yeah, I can improve on that. 2021 was extremely rough for me. I hit my peak too earlier in the year and I was going downhill really fast. So I didn't shoot very great and I still took 10th. So I went from ninth, my best performance, to 10th to a terrible performance. Then we go to 2022 and I took second, which to this day, it is my best performance at a match ever, which just happened to be at a nationals, um, which was great for me. But and then this year, when we talk about the storyline, I had a very mid match. I didn't have anything extraordinary until the third day. First day was okay. Second day was terrible. So let's say the match was very mid overall. So and then I took third. So it just shows you how your best just moves everything up, right? So ninth, 10th, second, third, 2 years kind of following the same system. Just shows you that you get better, which is great because you can't really see that you're improving because when you get to a certain point, you're like making micro steps up,
Right.
and then you look from hindsight and you're like, oh, I did get better. Awesome. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
when you're moving like it would be like going on a 10-mile run and every day you're
yeah,
making a 1 second improvement. You know, it's
yeah,
like
exactly.
very small,
It's
but
very
it is an
small.
improvement. Yeah.
Yeah, takes a little bit to get better, but it's there, and you can see it, which is awesome. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not doing anything better. I'm not getting better. Like, why am I practicing? And then you look back, you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay. Keep going.
So I consider PCC to be your division, your primary division. Would you consider that to be the case?
I would say probably. I wouldn't say I shoot it the most. I'd just say that's kind of like my best division. Um, I'm kind of very spastic with my divisions. One carry optics, limited optics, single stack. I've shot PCC, single stack, carry optics, and limited optics all in this year. So I'm very spastic. But I would say PCC is definitely my best division. Yes.
So how well do you think you could do if you settled down and focused on one division?
Um, I don't know. So I have this very bad. I don't know. It's not a habit because I don't mean to do it. But if I stick on a gun too long, I get really bad really fast. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of what everyone else does. I think it's just like my dad says it's a boredom problem where I get bored with it. It's too easy. I need something
Okay.
else. So, I think it's about a 3 month range where it's like, okay, I'm comfortable with the gun. I've gotten better with the gun. I'm improving with the gun. Now I'm good with the gun. Okay, now you're going downhill from there. So it's about a 3 to 5 max month range where it's like, okay, I got to go to the next thing or else it's going to go downhill real fast. That's what happened in 2021. I spent so much time on the PCC trying to get better. Honestly, to win lady was what it was. I just wanted to win that PCC ladies title. So I spent so much time on it and Utah State amazing match. It was like 3 weeks prior, maybe 4 weeks at the time, and then PCC Nationals tanked so hard. And so it's like is that it's very fine balance where it's hit the peak at the right time and then get off of it, move to the next one before you start going down.
All right.
So
Before we get into the whole storyline thing,
yeah.
I've got another question. Well, you mentioned something, maybe somebody else can work and get up to rival the men like you have. Um, as good as your sister is, you beat her by 311 points, and she was second ladies. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know I love Jay Lee, so that's
Yeah.
not. I'm not here to talk smack. I'm just saying there's a huge gap between you and all the other ladies.
Hmm.
But I have seen a couple of them, like Linda's trying all the time. Um, but give me your thoughts on Jessica. I don't know how to say her last name, and I don't want
I
to.
I've never met her. I might have met her at the time. Right now I can't remember, but I think it's Dorian, but she has not told me
Okay.
it's Dorian. That's just how I say it.
Okay.
So we'll see if she sees this and corrects me, but I think it's Dorian, but I apologize if it's wrong. That's just how I say it.
But she's young, and Ashlyn Champagne is a junior, and
Hmm.
she's working hard. So I feel like there's two other, maybe three more ladies who are working hard to try to improve. What do you have you met Ashlyn at all?
I may have met her in crossing,
Okay,
shaken her hand a little bit.
right, or something like that.
I think,
I got
yeah,
you.
I've never officially, like, I don't remember officially, like, hanging out with her, talking to her a long time or anything like that.
Have you
Yeah.
noticed any up and coming women in PCC?
So I definitely took a note of Jessica and Ashlyn and Linda and Jaylee's picked up a gun a month before the match, hasn't really ever shot PCC that much, and she did excellent.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
so
good.
my dad was like, your goal at this match should be 1-2. Like his always, ever since we started shooting, is 1-2. So he finally got his 1-2 in PCC, because I think he's been wanting that since I started shooting PCC in 2019, 2020. So for Julie to do that was incredible, and she won A class too, which was kind of took us all by surprise. We were all watching the lady, and then my dad's like, "Hey, she won A class too," and we were like, "What?" But I think there's a lot of effort in multiple divisions in USPSA right now from different ladies who you can see are getting better, and they're practicing, and you're seeing the videos and you're seeing their improvement. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that a lot more ladies are getting better. If you look at the talent in today's world versus, like back in the 80s, everyone has gotten better, both male and
Oh
female
yeah,
side.
and
But
men too.
definitely,
Yeah,
yeah, male and female, right? But I think the classes today in the ladies, if you're not A, or at least an A, if not M, you're not competing. Like, you have to be at least an A or an M or a GM now to even be in contention to do anything in the lady category at the top matches. So I think there's a different push from multiple ladies in multiple divisions that it's exciting to watch, and it's exciting for I'd say, like, the lady division in like optics and stuff, because it's not to say too easy is it's not it's awesome, but it's it's like a one because now it's like for PCC it's kind of like I won PCC but I took third. It's like that third place is what gets me excited versus PCC. But
right.
when there's a race, it's like I took lady, look at this type thing. When it's a race, so it's a lot more special when there's a fight for it. So I'm excited. I hope to see more people like that for me, I guess.
So two things: I'm not a woman, and I don't pretend to be. And two,
Okay.
I don't shoot PCC. So I'm asking you from a woman's perspective: is it easier to shoot PCC or pistol, or is there
That's a
even a difference?
I don't actually think there's a difference. I just think my forte is in PCC for some reason. Just like any other sport, I guess. My forte is just the position you play, or the gear you use, even, right? So I don't necessarily think as a woman it's easier to shoot rifle. I mean, you still have to move the same. I mean, yeah, still have to
Yeah.
move the same amount, right? It's just different guns and just how you shoot them, I guess. I don't know.
Well, well, I
For
mean, actually,
me,
the PCC is
PCC is,
bigger and bulkier.
yeah, it's definitely
You
more
know.
challenging moving with the rifle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the rifle is easier to shoot, so it balances itself
Balance
out.
out.
Like, it's for me, it's a lot easier to shoot the rifle. If I gotta shoot something, I'll shoot the rifle all day. Versus, some people's forte may be more pistol oriented and be like, I'll take the pistol, right? So I guess it just depends on your gear and on, I guess, your mental game.
So when you shot CO Nats on the ladies super squad, did you notice any up and comers in CO?
Um, let me remember.
Yeah, I'm
So
going to go back too.
yeah, so I know Jessica Morrow is putting in a tremendous effort, both
She is.
physically on the physical side, weightlifting, cardio, all that fun stuff. So I know she's putting a big effort for that. I know, like, me, Morgan, remind me, I'm sorry, who took third?
I'm going to tell you in 1 second. So it was you, Morgan, and Alicia Russell.
Alicia Russell. She did not shoot on her squad, so I cannot
Okay.
comment on that. She did not shoot on that squad. Um, yeah, I'd probably say the biggest effort I'm seeing put in, at least, is probably Jessica Morrow, just because the physical side of it, if she can outrun all of us. If this was a physical game, she would crush us all, and it wouldn't even be close. Especially now, like, she's gotten so fit. So I'm excited to see when the shooting side comes. It'll be interesting to watch if she gets that wrapped together with the physical part of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's definitely working on her entire game, meaning the physical
Yeah.
side of it as well as the other side, the actual shooting
Yeah.
side. So I agree that would be interesting. But I'm always curious from your point of, your perspective as to what you're
Yeah.
seeing in the future. So,
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, my brain right now is pretty much me, Morgan, in Carry Optics. Morgan and I, excuse me. My mom would just been so angry at me.
we won't tell her. We won't
um,
tell her.
it would definitely be Morgan, like just Morgan and I. It's up there. At least just from the squad point of view. I can't tell you from Alicia's standpoint, because I haven't watched her shoot. But
Well, she seemed to
definitely,
take a break there for a little bit or something
I
because
think
I hadn't seen her
I
name around.
I think she probably, yeah, I haven't seen her. Uh, I don't think, well, at least she's never been on the Ladies Super Squad when I have. I think she was on it in 2021 or something, but I was on the men's PCC Super Squad at that point. But pretty much right now, I'm just keeping an eye on Morgan and all of the best, obviously, and not all, but awesome with Glock and everything like that. But always just watching
Okay.
everyone. There's always someone up and coming, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
where'd you come from?
Well, and I had never
So
heard of Jessica until this year, and she seemed
yeah,
to come out of nowhere. I was like, whoa.
yeah,
Ashlyn started working hard last year or so. It's I like to see young people coming up. Like there was a male junior, I want to say top 10 at this year's PCC Nats as well.
Migs. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Migs. Yes, he's from Vegas.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
that's always good to see. When you see a junior that high, you're like,
yeah.
if he sticks with it, like I don't know why Austin Aris isn't doing it anymore, but if they
I'm
stick
pretty
with it, you're like, there's a future.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Austin is just his dad and his mom own this huge equestrian ranch. There's a lot more money in horses,
Mm.
um and I think that was just where his passion was, just working with horses and everything. So, and I'm pretty sure he's a world champion with that stuff. So nothing like being
Holy
good in
cow.
two sports. So
Yeah, no
yeah,
kidding. So then
so
he just needs to combine the horse racing and the shooting, and they have that. They have that
they have the
whenever
sport.
they
Yeah.
do. All right. So what's the storyline here?
Okay. So let's see. So I shot Tuesday Night Steel, which on Tuesday. This is upcoming to PCC Nationals, and I shot terrible. I have not missed so much at a Tuesday Night Steel probably since I was like 10. It was terrible. And I was shooting with my friends, Richard Ingram, Dan Long, Glenn, Jay Lease, and I could sense their slight concern for me because they're like, she's about to leave for nationals. I mean, I literally leave Wednesday afternoon, and I'm shooting terrible. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Like, it was so bad. But I'm like, whatever. It's a Tuesday Night Steel. It's completely different. I don't care. So I'm packing my gear, my gun stuff, the next morning on Wednesday, and I go to put my PCC in my bag, and my optic is literally rocking like this,
Oh,
and like my main optic, and I'm like, that explains it. Because like TNS, I was like, I am aiming, and there's not a lot of trigger control involved with PCC, so I don't know why I'm missing. So it made sense. I kind of had a small freak out. I FaceTime Carson. I was like, what do I do? I don't have time to run into the range to sight it in again. What do I do? He's like, just go find the tools and fix it. I was like, okay, I'll ask my dad. So I go upstairs with my dad. He's laying in bed. I'm like, Dad, my optic is loose. Like, what do I do? And he's like, well, just go get a tool and fix it. And I was like, do you have any of the tools? And he's like, what do you need? And I told him. He's like, no, I don't have that. And I'm like, oh, Dad, why don't you have the tools? You're a construction worker. You're supposed to have all the tools. And he's like, why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, because I'm just panicking. But I found the tools and I ended up fixing it. Um, and then, so that kind of like got in my head because I'm like, oh man, what if there's like something wrong with the mount? Like it comes loose again during nationals. So every single stage at nationals, I literally just rocked it just to make sure, like, okay, it didn't move. Okay, good. Okay, it didn't move. Good, good. So there was that. Then we got to Talladega or Birmingham when we flew into, and they didn't have our car reservation. And I was like, fantastic, awesome.
oh,
And it was like 9:30 at night, mind you. So I'm like, oh, this is such a great start to this trip. Ended up getting a car, luckily the one we wanted and everything like that. So that was okay. Got to nationals first day. It was okay. Nothing too awesome. I kind of tanked the last stage, which kind of hurt a little bit. Rolled into day two, and just nothing went went my way. I could not hit the targets to save the life of me. It was so bad on one stage. I ran out of bullets. Like my mag, I ran out of bullets. That's how bad it was. So that's what I tell people. Like
Wow.
it was so bad I ran out of bullets. I had a popper left standing, which gave me a mic. Um, I haven't shot that bad in a while, and it was just like everything I tried going faster, didn't work. I tried going slower, didn't work. And then I was slow and not accurate. So I was like,
Oh
what
my
am I
gosh.
doing? So that was really bad. So I went back to the Airbnb and I just laid in bed. I was like, what am I doing? I looked at the scores. I did a predictive. I was not even supposed to take top 10. Like, that's how bad I did the second day. I was like predicted for
Wow.
like 14th or 17th or something like that. And I'm like, not only am I going to not take top three, which is what I really wanted in my head, not only am I going to take top seven, which is what I put the wall off, you're going to take seventh. Not even top 10, which I was telling everyone, which now in my head I'm saying, oh, everyone's going to make fun of me now. And, all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to take 17th. Awesome. Carson had to talk me down. He was like, you're fine. Like, no one's done shooting. You have to shoot another zone. The scores are kind of off. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get up the third day and I was like, well, you're kind of in a spot now where you really can't lose anything. You're already doing really bad. So I get up, I dry fired, went to the range, and Zach starts talking to me and says, did you see you, me, and Scott, we're in the fight for third. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, not even in top 10. And he's like, no, the scores are all messed up. You have to just look at the people on our squad because that's the tracks. That's what we're following. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. 9 days later, and I still don't know how to track scores, obviously. So happy for me. So I'm like, okay. So we're about to shoot. The shooting order goes Zach, and then me, and then a few people, and then Scott. So I'm like, okay, well, Zach goes before me, so I gotta just see how he shoots. Shot the stage excellent, did very good. So I was like, okay. I think the difference was Scott was in third, 30 points ahead of me. Zach was in fourth, about 15 points ahead of me, and then I was in fifth with them ahead of me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to gain. My zone C was the smallest points of the entire match, and I was in the worst position to try and take third. So in my head, I
Right.
said, I think I can take fourth, but I don't know if I can gain 30 points on Scott, who has shot an extremely consistent match. So I was like, okay, I'll deal with fourth. So I shoot, and Zach said, I was like, you just, he high-fived me. He's like, you got this. Like, don't worry about it. So I shoot the stage, and I kind of came out swinging, and I did really good on the first stage of the day. And I was like, okay, awesome. Mojo, back. And then Scott shot, and it was Mojo back. Scott shot, and I had beat Scott on that stage too. And I was like, hey, I actually might be able to do this. The second stage we shot for the day, I was first on, which happened to be the most points for the day, as well as the most technical. So I was like, okay. And it just so happened that Shooting USA, John Scouten, was filming that stage. And there was like two different plans to do it. And so I was kind of like the baseline for everyone, like which way should you go? I went right.
Mm.
Yeah, so I was like, this is the worst stage to go first on. Just because I'm a weird position. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna not do anything crazy and don't do anything stupid. That was just my goal. Don't do anything stupid. Shot the stage. I executed it actually really well. I executed it better than I thought I did. And I was like, oh yeah, stage win, got this. And then Josh Freilich beat me on it by like a half a point or something crazy like that. It was like a point or something like that. I was like, just doing my thunder. Come on, man. Come on. I told him that too. I was like, my one match, I just wanted one stage win and you stole it. But it was enough to like get closer. I was like, awesome. Did a few stages later, we ended up going to the second to last stage. with me, Scott, and Zach within like 3 points of each other. And like I'm like, this is mind blowing. We just shot almost an entire nationals, and we were only 3 points apart. Like, and Zach and I were both talking about it. Is Zach and I both made terrible mistakes the first and the second day, and if one of us just wouldn't have made one of those mistakes, we would have been ahead enough to not even worry about it. So we were like, this is crazy. But we shot it, and Scott had some issues, and he had two no penalty or two mics on it. So we were like, okay, that happened. Okay, so then it was Zach, and Zach did a reload. It was a mandatory reload state. He did a reload, paused, looked at the mag because he said he thought he reloaded an empty mag, looked at it, realized it was loaded, and then kept shooting. And so he like paused for like 2.5 seconds, and we were like, "What are you doing, dude?" He's like, "I thought I reloaded an
Wow.
empty mag," and I'm like, "Yes, like I can do this." Oh my goodness, because it wasn't like it was an empty mag, and then so I was like, "Okay, like I can do this. All I have to do is not make a mistake," and then I threw a mic. I was like,
Oh, wow.
"You had one job," and it was funny because it was Virginia count stage, and I called it as soon as I did it, and I was like, "You had one job." And I was like, awesome. So I'm going into the last stage. Me and Zach are like 3 points apart, with me on top, and Zach is the shooter before me. And it was a fixed time stage. And I remember no one was going into the par. I mean, not even Max made the par time. So this par time was so fast. It was like 9.7,
Wow.
but you had 10 seconds, and it was incredibly fast. Max didn't even get it. So I'm like, okay, well, just don't do anything stupid, and you got this. Well, Zach shoots the stage and cleans it, like gets it, everything under the par time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. So I'm just in my own world, like this, it's very position heavy fixed time stage. So I'm like, just in my head, I'm trying to get the positions and everything like that. I guess Zach had a lot of no penalty mics on it and a lot of Charlies and Deltas. I didn't know that at the time. As he walks back, he goes, "Well, you better floor it," or something to the point of, "You better shoot it really fast." And I was like, "Oh, he's right. I better shoot it really fast." But I guess he was joking with me, which at the time I didn't pick up on the hint. But I was like, "Oh man, he's right. I better do it really fast." So when the RO was like, "Are you ready? Stand by," and I'm like, just go for it, I guess. There's nothing to lose, really. Like, you're already behind. He just did really well on the stage. So the beeper went, I shot, and I don't think I had shot that well the entire match. Just everything, the swinger position, just it was perfectly executed for me at least. And I was coming into the last lean, and with the PCC and my height, like it was a lean, but I over exaggerated it a little bit, and my toe caught the very edge of the fault line, and I fell on the last shot of the last target. I fell and kind of like slid on my knees, and the RO was like, "Safe." But I guess I ended up winning the stage because I had one Charlie and one no penalty mic, and I was like, this was so awesome because it came down to the last point, and the last stage, and I really didn't want to, like, Zach is an awesome competitor. I wouldn't have wanted to done it with anyone else just because he's super respected and he's a great shooter. But like last stage down to the wire, you probably couldn't tell that from the scores because Zach kind of messed up the last stage a little bit. But it did come down to the last stage for both of us, I guess. Yeah, and everyone keeps texting me. He's like, "Man, watch that happen." I was pushing refresh, 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 and I was like, "Awesome, thanks." Like, makes me so awesome. So nervous. Like, I wasn't thinking about you guys. Jeez. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of how it was.
I'm looking at the scores. I'm down to 50. I don't see Zach.
Zach
There
Smith.
he is, 59th.
Yeah. Overall, he
Wow.
was
So that's how
fourth.
you end. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that last stage, I think he had like 40 something points on it, and I had won it, so I'd gotten the full points on it. So it was pretty cool. Like in my head, I was like, it was the first time that I had been in that close of a position to something that I really wanted, like overall wise. And executed how I wanted to on the very last stage, because like that much pressure going to the last stage thinking that your opponent just crushed it, and in order to podium you have to have a good stage. Like in my head I had to had a good stage, realistically winning it, and so I was like, well, gotta kind of do it. It's the time where you take everything you've ever learned and you put it in that moment and it actually ends up fitting perfectly. So that was really cool for like mentally. It was like, yeah, you can do that. Like you did do that, and you can do it again. So that was pretty cool.
Well, it's interesting because let me go back to the match here. I was looking at your score. You won that stage by over 4 percentage points. So
Yeah.
um, that was pretty impressive there. But what I wanted to get at was you went in, you said trailing Zach by 30, right?
Um,
Was it
on the
Zach or
last day,
Scott? Yeah, the last day.
uh, Scott, it was about 30 points. Yeah.
Okay, and Zach by 15 then?
Yeah.
And you ended up beating Zach by basically 30 and Scott by like 33,
Yeah.
34. So
It
that's an
was,
impressive turnaround.
yeah. I didn't honestly like John, he didn't get this on video, which I wish he would have now looking back on it, but John's like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing good." And he's like, "How are you like doing overall?" And I'm like, "Well, I've lost. I don't think I can get to third, but I think I can get to fourth, which is Scott and Zach." And he was like, "Well, good luck. You got this." And I was like, "Thanks." And so now, like looking back on it, that was the second stage in. So now looking back on it, it's just like it's funny how like small. It wasn't small, like just a little bit of fire, just a little bit, just push just enough to a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. A lot of people are like, "Wow, 30 points," but 30 points broken up on 6 stages is a lot, but not undoable, depending on
Right.
who you're shooting against. Now, 30 points on Max, good luck. He's about to beat you by 100.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. Glenn today was telling him, like, good job, Max, you did awesome. I was like, I know. I don't even know why we show up anymore. Like, he's just going to win every year. Like, just
Right.
coast to the win. Like,
Yeah. Everybody's basically shooting for second and third.
third. Yeah.
So,
Well, not this year with Josh. Everyone was shooting for third. It was a battle for third because Josh was just doing it so well. It was just like poetry in motion watching him. Like, it's
so
crazy.
it looks like you came into day three on stage 14. So you were
Yeah.
fourth there. Then you were second on the next stage, 10th, still not bad. Then you won a stage
Mm-hmm.
17. Then you talked about stage 18 where you had the mic. So you guys basically stayed the same.
Yeah.
And then that last stage you won again. So you had two wins and a second on day three.
Yeah. It was like almost a completely different person shooting day three, I would feel like. Like, just if you watch the scores from day two to day three, it was like a complete turnaround. And like I said, I can't tell you why. It was just kind of like a, what are you doing? Get your crap together. If you want to do better,
Right.
like if you want to not, like not look bad, you want to meet your goals, you want to prove some people wrong, stuff like that. Like get your butt in gear and get to work type thing.
Right. Well, if you want to improve for next year, chrono is where you need to improve. You were 96th.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chrono was perfectly executed. 134 though. Can't tell you that was exactly. I wanted
There
to
you go.
135, so it was almost
Okay.
perfect. So
All right. So now what does your schedule look like for the rest of the year?
So right now my home club is putting on a level 2 Red Rock, the Berries Red Rock Rumble. It starts this Thursday. So I've been working. I got back on Monday and I started working Tuesday. All like it's crazy. But we have all the stages. I think it's 16 stages plus chrono. It's a massive match for a level 2, not even a
Wow.
state or an
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
16?
16. We have a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. If you know anyone who wants to RO, like let us know because we're looking for some ROs still. But um, But yeah, we've got that. I shoot Thursday, Friday, and then I'm staffing Saturday, Sunday. And then I've got a Colt photo shoot in Phoenix. And then we have limited optics or handgun national, excuse me. Um, let's see. And then right after limited optics nationals, we go directly from Ohio back to Talladega for IDPA Worlds. Doing that this year. And then we've got Erie 2, and then we've got the IPSC Thailand World Shoot
Okay.
and shotgun.
Oh,
That's
shotgun. I
pretty
was
much
like,
it.
Ipsen Thailand World Shoot.
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
did that a year ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's shotgun. But I think that's pretty much it. Just right now, it's Red Rock. Just like I loaded all my ammo yesterday, so now I'm not waiting till the last minute to load my ammo, which is good. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are shooting qualifiers for the next World Shoot. What about you?
Yeah, IPSC Nationals. Yeah, we have that one too. Thank you for reminding me. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm actually a little bit torn on that. I guess there's a rumor that they're changing the quals for PCC World Shoot, and that this year's IPSC Nationals will be part of it. Which is a little bit odd because for people who want to qualify for South Africa, they need that for South Africa. But if they want to qualify, like for me, I'm trying to qualify for the men's team. So do I shoot it at PCC at IPSC Nationals to try and get a better score, or do I just risk it for the biscuit and shoot it carry optics because I want to go to South Africa and carry optics, production optics, excuse me. So we'll see. I got to figure out what I'm doing there to make sure that the rumor was actually true. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll see.
Okay.
Like, are they going to let people shoot twice to get a qualifier score, or is that a rumor, or is it true? Like, what's going on? So I have to figure it out.
Oh wow, you had to figure it out quick too.
I just, you know me, pick up the gun 2 weeks before, figure it out
Right.
then.
Well, no, I mean, you just have to figure out what you're going to be shooting. You don't
Oh,
necessarily have
yeah,
to. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
I'll figure it out. I think right now I'm signed up under carry optics, which I might just stick to carry optics just because I have two solid quals in for PCC Worlds. I have a second and a third, um, 2022, 2023. So, I mean, I can't do much better than that. So I might
yeah.
just shoot production optics just in case something else happens down the road that I have a qual for that. And so we'll see.
Okay. Now,
Yeah,
how's
but we were talking
the?
about it last night with my dad. He was like, "You got to figure out what you're doing." I'm like, "I know, I know. I got to figure it out." I'm like, it's making me nervous, and I'm like, I can't do much better than second and third. I mean, like, I'm not fourth. Like, I'm second, third, but the point system is a little weird, so I could get knocked off uh, the men's team depending on how well the other men do, point system wise. So that's it's the point system is crazy and it's weird.
Mm,
So we'll
okay.
see. A second and third is pretty good. Make my case.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one person who is secure in their position is Max.
Yeah, it's
So,
Max. That's why I was like, oh, Max. Always. Always winning everything. Like, does he even have to try? I don't know.
right. Now, how is the firearms training business going?
It's going
Do you have
good.
time to do that?
Not really. I do a lot of privates. I've done a couple of classes. I did a movement class in Phoenix in August, which it was hot, very hot.
Oof.
Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but we were done by 11. So we started at like 7 in the morning. Because I told everyone I was like, we're gonna start early and we're gonna get out there before it gets hot, and they were like, let's do it. And it was great. Everyone loved it. Everyone wants another one. So that was pretty cool. Um, so we'll see. I'm kind of waiting to do more classes until next year, only because like with IDPA World and Shotgun World Shoot and two more nationals, like it's a little bit hectic for me right now, just because like PCC, limited optics, carry optics, and shotgun, all of the majors in a different gun. So I'm trying to pace myself and not get burned out too easily, which I'm doing pretty good. So we'll see.
All right. So I wrote a few things down. I thought you said Nils was part of the storyline too.
Oh yeah. I went into day two thinking watching him on a stage. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get bit. I'm gonna get beat by a pistol shooter at PCC Nationals. Like I'm one of those people. Like, and I literally just watched him, and then I remember watching him so clearly, and I was like, I go, holy. And then I say the word, and someone next to me, I don't know who yelled it, but they were like, stick to pistol. I was like, I agree. Like, stick to pistol. But I'm like, I'm gonna get bit by a pistol shooter. This is crazy. I mean, it's Nils, so does it count? Not really. Because
Right.
he's an all gun shooter, but
He is,
I
yeah.
just I was like he was because he was on the ladies super squad, and so we kept catching the ladies super squad on every stage. So Jessica was shooting open, his wife.
Right.
So he was on the ladies super squad. So I every
That's
stage
hysterical.
I watched him and I was like, this this is outrageous. Kick him off. This is terrible. He should not be shooting PCC. Could have gave a mechanic a 9 gun and he would have beat most of the people there. Like
Yeah, yeah, for
good
sure.
open.
So when you were in Talladega, were they building those other bays while you were there?
Let's see. Were they? I didn't see
They're
any big
right there by the
construction.
parking lot. No?
Left, right. I don't
No,
remember seeing any big equipment. Um, so they may have, but at this moment I cannot remember.
okay. And
Sorry.
what are you shooting in limited optics? What gun and optic?
Um, so I have the new Voodoo Priest that just came out.
Voodoo priest. That sounds
Yeah, it's
very
a
inappropriate.
yeah,
It's very
it's the
evil.
Voodoo, and they named it the Priest. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, actually, I never thought of that. That's actually a very valid point.
Very evil.
Um, but yeah, that's the gun I'm using. It's black and gold, and it shoots very beautifully. It's very easy to shoot. I'm gonna say it doesn't recoil much, and yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm
And I'm
excited to
guessing an
shoot pistol
SRO,
again. As an SRO, obviously.
of course.
But yeah, I was gonna shoot it at this match, but I have IDPA Worlds coming up, and I'm like, that's important. So I'll shoot one more match with the PCC, and then I'll switch to the limited optics gun.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna shoot the Arizona State PCC Championship this weekend, but then I was like, I already did my PCC work at Nationals. I don't really wanna do it again at another PCC match. So I'll stay help. My club needs help, and like help design stages, build stages, minor work, and they put me in charge of prize duty of organizing that. So gotta do that. So yeah, I just decided to stay here.
So do you plan on competing throughout your adult life then?
Yes. It's definitely like I'm very fortunate to be able to do something that I love as my full-time job. I get to work with incredible companies that have a good missions and good products. And yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of ride this train as long as I can with my training. I want to teach some PCC classes, just because why not? I've taken second, like top 10 a few years in a row now, and I'm 5'4" and a girl, and I'm doing something right. So I want to teach
Yeah,
some
you are.
PCC classes eventually. So um, yeah, teaching and shooting. It's pretty much my life. I tell a lot of people, "Oh, Carson's family and people are, oh, what do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a teacher." That's what I say. I'm a teacher, and they're like, "What do you teach?" And I'm like, "Dude, I gotta elaborate on that." Because like, some people, I'm not quite sure their view and everything. Well, I'm like, "Well, I'm a pro shooter and I teach firearms," and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then someone's like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Yeah, not preschoolers. They're full grown, full grown."
Sometimes
Full
they
grown.
can be preschoolers.
True. Some of them can pretend they're in high school and bicker and fight and do all that, but like I love teaching people and spreading the knowledge that it's not mine, it's what I've learned from everyone. So teaching and shooting, that's pretty much it. And I will let you know if anything changes.
All right, there you go. Well, Justine, that's all I had. Was there anything we didn't touch on that we said we were going to from earlier?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just CO nats and PCC nats, and then just up and
Yeah.
coming stuff, pretty much. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
running out of shelving. So if anyone wants
Yeah.
to donate toward my shelving budget, I'm out of shelves. And the shelves are like Boeing. These medal trophies are so heavy. They're like Boeing, and I'm like, this is gonna break, and my mom's gonna be pissed that I broke her wall. Like, so gotta get
We're
more
going to be
shelves.
recording a podcast, and there's going to be an avalanche behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was gonna do this in my room, but I was like, I'll just do it here, whatever.
There you go. It's a better background. It's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.